Show, BBC Six Music with me, Steve Motion. Don't know why I said transmission. It's very much just the way that DLT would have said it, I imagine. And of course, we're in the long lineage of great broadcasters such as that. I have my little gang of croonies here. I wanted to play transmission because I know a lot of people are saying, Steve, will the film Control, the recent British film about the life of Ian Curtis, win a BAFTA at tonight's BAFTAs? I, of course, very much across all the new music, but also the new movies. Seen all the BAFTA-nominated films, formed strong opinions of all of them. You're saying, is Control, it's nominated for Best British Picture, is it going to win? I'm saying to you, it deserves a nod. I fear it won't. I fear it's going to lose out to Atonement as Best British Film, therefore leaving the way open for Best Picture to go to There Will Be Blood, with Daniel Day-Lewis. So more of my exciting film opinion later on. If you do not have an opinion, if between now and the BAFTAs being announced later, you're in a situation where someone says, do you think Control's got a chance of winning? Just regurgitate exactly what I've just said there, thus passing that opinion off as your own. And that's very much what the new model Steve Show is for 2008. We are a one-stop shop for you, the listener. Let's say you do not have any opinions of your own, right? You are empty, vacuous. It's not unlikely, let's be honest. You're in a pub, you're confronted with some people, they start chit-chatting, you don't have anything to contribute to the conversation. If you listen to a Steve Show, any given Steve Show of 2008, and you listen for 2 hours, not only will you get all your dose of new music, which you can strike up in any conversation, but hopefully, and this is my aim, guys, is that you will also have some pub chit-chat, some water cooler conversation that you can drop in, right? We are hoping to be not just the usual twaddling twit-twat. is that a phrase? It is now. Not just that, but also some content, some meat on the bone of conversation. And sadly, I mean, if only I could have just fired the old gang and brought in some know-it-alls, but cost, I'm afraid, will not allow, and also years of friendship. So I'm stuck with the usual cronies. We got Posh Rufus, welcoming him back. Little round of applause in the Steve Wright style.
Thanks, Steve. Nice to be here.
Keep that going as we welcome back Tiny Dan.
Hey, Tiny.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
And
yes,
of course,
nice to be back.
Sammy from the north.
Hiya.
Blimey, she got a big fan
I thought
base
him
here.
to stop just before Sammy started to speak then. I wonder why that
Well, I don't know. But anyway, so you guys, I mean, what do you think of Remix 2008 Steve Show? I mean, intimidated?
I'm terrified, Steve. I still don't know quite what my arrangement's going to be, what my kind of specialised subject's going to be.
Sure.
But you know how raring I am to go with anything you tell me to do.
Excellent, good.
Yeah, so I'm gonna wise up.
Brilliant. Okay, good. Well, I mean, there's lots of stuff about you. You're very much a Renaissance man. You could easily, formulate an opinion quite quickly, I imagine, on a lot of contemporary art, contemporary theatre.
It could be Art Corner, Art Club.
Art Club.
Yeah,
I also-
4:15, time for Art Club.
I also think, of course, though, that being super posh as you are, that opens up a whole other avenue of
Exactly.
perhaps which fork to use
Yes.
in any
yeah.
given dining environment.
I'm thinking modern chivalry.
Modern chivalry
Might be something I take
Modern
on.
chivalry. Well,
Yeah.
that'd be a great
I like the sound
10
of
to
that.
5
Yeah.
slot.
Yeah.
Tiny Dan, you obviously an irregular and unpopular member of the
Yes.
gang.
Yeah.
But what
frequently voted second least popular of the
Absolutely.
of the crew. Well, as you know, I'm quite an empty vessel. There's not a lot to me, as we know from former housemate, the years that we've spent together.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much to me. I'm a bit like Robert De Niro in that there's nothing at the core of me, except I don't have that acting talent either. So
Sure.
I'm not sure what I can bring to the show, Steve.
Okay, well, thanks for coming anyway. And of course, Sammy from the north. I mean, what's your specialist subject?
I read a lot of women's magazines and attend hairdressers.
Okay, perfect. That's exactly what we've been after. Who knows what's going on in the hairdressers of England as we speak? Well,
You'd be
Sammy does.
shocked.
I bet we would. But we would also like you, the listener, as well, just contribute. Because obviously I don't work in an office anymore, and so I do not know what the big water cooler office conversations are. 64046 stephen.sixmusic@bbc.co.uk. What should you be talking about this week? What have you been talking about? I don't know, and I want to be able to enlighten anyone like me out there who's wondering, what are they going to say at work tomorrow? What are the big water cooler conversations? 64046 stephen.sixmusic@bbc.co.uk. We have live music later, am I right, Jude? Yeah, she nods enthusiastically, from the wonderful Laura Marling. As a little taster, here's a tune from her forthcoming album, Alas, I Cannot Swim.
Oh, you crawled out of the sea.
A little taster of Laura Marling from her album Alas I Cannot Swim, Crawled Out of the Sea. And Laura will be here later playing some tunes, hopefully having a little chinwag with us. And very much essential new music. We're keeping you fully abreast of that. But as I say, we're hoping to also keep you abreast of all the other hot topics. The genuine, I mean, this is a genuine public service broadcasting opportunity for us here. And I just feel like in the past, for the last year, we have talked a lot of old drivel. And it's provided nothing to anyone. It's provided little entertainment, certainly not reaped us any financial rewards or indeed awards of any kind. And I very much, of course, only do things for the awards. So it seems now that it's time that we should, just step up.
I don't think it's fair to say that we've been doing that for an entire year because we took August off.
That's true. That's true.
It's
And
only
January.
11 months.
And January, yeah, you're absolutely right.
10 months.
No,
So-
exactly. But anyway, so yes, we are trying to buck our ideas up. Before we get onto that, though, we've not yet been able to catch up with Rufus since, of course, I mean, a lot of Steve fans will know this. A lot of big Rufus fans will be excited to find out how filming went on the forthcoming James Bond film.
Yeah, well,
I mean, Rufus, we should just fill in the newcomers to the station, but Rufus, of course, an actor by trade, and got an opportunity to appear in the new Bond film. Now, I presume it's all hush-hush.
Well, I've not seen the script. No one sent me the entire script. I was just sent my sides. A couple of actors in the film had larger parts. Were sent the script and therefore know the story. And of course, the title is. Steve, you know the title?
It was a very weird title. I know it was announced.
It's the Quantum Menace, isn't it?
Quantum of Solace.
That's
is the
right.
title.
Quantum of Solace.
Which apparently
That's a terrible name.
I know. It's an Ian Fleming short story title, apparently.
Yeah.
So it's got some sort of provenance with Fleming. It was a pretty extraordinary experience filming because I was working with Daniel Craig and Judi Dench.
Craig plays James Bond. Just keeping people abreast.
Yeah, it's worth doing that. The best story I heard about actually film was my friend Rory, who's in the film as well. Fantastic actor called Rory Kinnear, who some people may have seen in 5 Days last year. Remember that? He was in Berlin on holiday with his girlfriend over New Year, and he was standing in front of the Soviet War Memorial wearing an army coat and a Russian hat in quite thick snow. The snow was falling, and his phone rang, and it was the second assistant director of the Bond movie saying, "Oh, Rory, I've got Daniel and Mark Forster on the line. They want to have a quick chat about the scene you're filming." And he went, "Oh, okay, yeah, put them through." So he started having a chat with the director about the scene he was going to film. The director is an Austrian man called Mark Forster. He was saying, "Rory, we want to talk about the scene filming with Daniel." He's got him on the line. Daniel was like, "Hi, Rory, it's Daniel." "Oh, hi." And then they did a line run of the scene that they were filming. So Rory was standing literally in front of a Soviet War Memorial with snow falling, saying, "I've got Bond. Bond, you're to go to Jamaica and to leave Slate," and all this sort of thing. And he thought, this is the most Cold War James Bond experience.
perfect,
I'm
yeah.
actually speaking to James Bond, and I'm in Berlin in front of a war
Yeah.
memorial in snow.
Oh, that's fantastic. You see,
Yeah.
I think the thing is that, it must be most boys' dreams to either be involved with a Bond film or interact with Bond in some way. Is that how you felt the day you were doing that?
Yeah, I've never been an obsessive fan. I've seen all of them, obviously, and I do like them. I'm not an obsessive fan, but I did find myself saying to the director at one point, "Yeah, I thought I'd do that whole speech to M and then just throw a look to Bond at the end," and then kind of heard myself saying it.
Yeah.
And that almost kind of doubled over with excitement.
Yeah.
And that's when it kind of suddenly became clear what was happening.
But you can't fill me in on any more plot detail to do with the quantum mechanics.
I really can't even tell you what my scene was about because it's too
It's
exciting
just so
and top secret. Yeah,
It's so
basically because my only hope of not being cut from this film is the thin, reedy hope that the exposition in which I kind of nudge the film along by an inch stays important and stays crucial
Yes.
to the film's story. That means I won't end up on the cutting room floor.
Right, so the fact that you just say, "Bond, would you fancy a coffee?"
Yeah.
potentially could result in you getting the chop
Yeah,
from
yeah.
that. 'Cause can you give us a line of dialogue, or is that not allowed?
I could tell you that we have a Mr. Edmund Slate returning to Port-au-Prince from Heathrow this morning.
Perfect. Again, I've no idea, but something's brewing.
Yeah,
This guy's-
something's up.
He's presumably got something for someone else that needs to be intercepted by Bond.
You know too much already, Steve.
Clearly,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Well, we look forward to that. And obviously, do we know when that's coming out?
7th of November, I'm told.
7th of
It's already got a
November.
release date, so...
This is great. And you got more days lined up?
no, that's me done.
That's it.
Yeah.
So we'll have to just wait. I get the feeling there's going to be a giant Six Music outing to the
I
cinema.
think there
come
might
6th
be.
of November.
Yeah. It's going to be a countdown and then a big outing.
Yeah.
And then when I'm not in and I have been cut, there's going to be a big disappointment.
From their album Journey to Anywhere, that's hip hopper's Ugly Duckling and A Little Samba. Back after this trail.
Hype music. Live music. Six music.
Dan, you are here obviously not just to add some teeniness to proceedings, but also because you have a musical choice. But prior to
Yes.
that, we've been musing on what you can contribute to our new public service Steve show.
Yes.
You, of course, are all across the sports.
Yes,
You know
yeah.
all about sports.
I know about sports.
I'm embarrassed to say that I don't, as you know, don't really follow it, don't really understand the ins and outs of it.
No. It led to a lot of tension when we lived together.
That's
I
true.
seem
We
to
didn't
recall.
live together in the biblical sense.
Yes, no. Let's make that
and,
clear.
Just make that clear. No, nothing wrong with it, but just
No,
you know, so,
that's fine,
so
that's
it's
fine.
better. Just
But we
to make
didn't.
these things. We did, but just to make these things aware,
Yeah.
make people
There's
aware.
nothing wrong with
Was
it.
there a
Nothing wrong with
biblical
it.
sense to living together? Wasn't it knowing each other in the biblical sense? I don't think you could live together in
You
the
could live
biblical
together in
sense.
the biblical sense.
No, that's
yeah.
just living together. There's nothing biblical about
No, living together in a biblical sense is in the desert in a tent.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's how you live together in the biblical sense.
And that's not how we lived
And that's
together.
we
so
never
in the-
lived
in the biblical
in that
sense.
way. Exactly. So yes, but I obviously have been in the pub. There's been a big football game on. I've been shouting, "Pop it in the goal hole!"
it's been embarrassing.
not really knowing what I'm talking
It led
about.
to a lot of tension because I've almost got some credibility on this because, as you know, I work at BBC Sport
Sports.
in my day job.
BBC Sports.
Sports,
Yeah.
pro hockey.
Yeah.
So
Do you like sports? Hey, do you like sports?
I like sports.
But yeah, you know all about sports.
Yeah.
So maybe it seems to me that the public service that you can provide to the Six Music listener, let's imagine I'm in a pub once again. It's often in a pub in my scenario.
Yeah.
I'm there. I'm meeting a group of acquaintances.
Yes.
Really, maybe I tell you what. Maybe I'm buying a gun.
Okay.
Right. Which I'm going to use. I've fallen on hard times. Okay, and for some reason I've got to buy a gun with which to hold up a bank.
Yeah.
Or just to threaten someone who's stolen my BAFTAs, something like that. And I've got to make conversation with, a sort of Cockney geezer. Okay, he just wants to talk about sports.
Yeah.
What would I say? I mean, where do I start?
Well, you've got to
this
remember,
week-
this Cockney geezer, he could turn nasty. If you
anytime.
don't know what you're going on about,
Yeah.
he's going to turn on you, and they'll be picking up bits of you for months. So
Yeah.
it's important you get this right.
Exactly.
Football is
I'm
your
scared
standard.
now. I don't
right?
even know why I've got embroiled with this gang.
Football, always go for football.
Yep.
Rugby, that's the sort of thing Rufus likes. It's possible.
It's posh
Cricket,
boys,
desperately complicated, so
Yep.
you could easily get out of it. Well, football, a lot more simple.
Sure.
And egalitarian. So you'll be fine with a bit of football. If he's Cockney, West Ham, probably your safest bet.
Okay.
Throw out a generic, non-specific question so that you don't
Right.
nail your colours to a mast.
Clever.
What do you make of the West Ham game at the weekend, mate?
Okay.
Something
Now,
like that.
can I rest assured? Generally, there will have been a West Ham game.
Well, check what month it is. If it's June or July, and this goes for all of you listeners out there probably hasn't been a football match.
Okay.
Or even late May. Be
Right.
careful.
Okay.
So that's most of the year.
Could I just make that even more generic just to play safe? Could I just say, what about the game? Oh, what about the game on Saturday?
No, because you'll mark yourself out as
an amateur.
It's going to come back straight at you.
Okay,
that-
I need a
what game?
degree of specificity.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you could say the West Ham game, so you don't need to know who they were playing.
Okay, clever.
And you're opening the door for him to say, "Oh, I love West Ham." In which case, the key words are Bobby Moore, Jeff Hurst,
Right.
Bobby Zamora.
Sure, so I would just say, don't you like blokes called Bobby?
Yeah,
I bloody love blokes called Bobby, me.
yeah. That's it. You'll be fine.
And I'm off and running, am I?
Yeah, but not Bobby Charlton.
Okay, so definitely don't. I say I love people called Bobby, except Charlton. I hate him.
Charlton, I hate him.
That's why I'm buying this gun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going after
I'm
him.
going after him.
Yeah.
Stupid comb over. Bang.
Yeah.
Is it him with the comb over?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
So there
Done,
you go, you
see?
nailed it. You
And I've
nailed it
already
already.
blagged my way to a friendship with a Cockney geezer.
Yeah, very useful to know because
Excellent.
if you do perform a hit, he can probably get rid of the body.
Good.
And serve you a lovely slap-up dinner of jelly deals and mash
Exactly,
as
at
well.
the same time. Good. Well, I feel like you've genuinely provided me with some help
There you
there,
go.
and I'm hoping over time we can build up the, a sort of, I don't know what the word is, a kind of like a flow diagram, a flow chart.
Yes.
Of what to say in any given
Yeah.
sport environment.
Well, I'm quite excited because I've actually got a practical use for once,
Yeah.
rather than being the butt of various height-related gags.
Off just football in general, or just West Ham football? Do you think?
No, I think we're going to build up, as I say, over time. We can't, we've got to keep some of our powder dry.
Sure.
I think football would be a 6-week module. It would be the longest of them.
I'd be disappointed if that was all the listener had to go on to get them through any conversation about football for the rest of their life.
No, that wouldn't be it. No, that's specifically with a Cockney.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, right.